This week on Canadian Whitetail.
A summer of scouting and preparation. Time spent in the field with family. More preparation and practicing. Awaiting opening day. Waiting for that moment that he steps out. That moment that you have to make a decision.
Finally, he walked out. I'm instantly regretting my decision not taking this shot.
Over the years, a lot of people have asked why. Why all the time? The work? Why has a passion transformed into a lifestyle? Our family's lifestyle? Why does it mean so much? The answer is so simple. All of that work, the scouting, the preparation, is for two reasons. To share the knowledge, the tradition, the love of deer, from those weathered with experience, to the next generation to carry. The other reason is even simpler. The work is to fuel that yearning desire, the longing for those split-second moments when all of that work comes together. Because those few times in a lifetime that it does, you no longer have to ask why when you experience moments like these with the biggest wild whitetails to ever walk. I mean, he's a gorgeous deer that I couldn't be happier to take. He's just beautiful. What a fitting end to an incredible season.
Dean Partridge's Canadian Whitetail is proudly brought to you by Limb Saver, products that work. Ozonics, undetectable, undeniable. Elite Archery, the world's most shootable bow. Under Armour, go where you don't belong. Excalibur Crossbow, the most trusted crossbows on the planet. Big & J Long Range Attractants. The aroma is super strong. The range is super long. Central Boiler Outdoor Wood Furnaces. Performance and value by design. Nocturnal Lighted Nocks. Switch on accuracy. The Whitetail Institute of North America. Slick Trick. The No Excuses Broadhead. Bog Pod. Hunting rests, bipods, and tripods. Glendale, the biggest and toughest 3D targets in the universe. And by Dual. Get real with Dual game calls.
Things can change in one's whitetail hunting career, and I don't mean for the better or for the worse. Just sometimes things change. For some, like Ken Hayworth, who's taken several Boone and Crockett deer and multiple deer over 200 inches, the shooting part of the hunt can start to slip back a little bit. And the chase, the hunt, the setup become the biggest high. Sometimes when all that setup pays off early in the season, well, sometimes you don't want it to be over with yet. And sometimes you second guess yourself. And sometimes you don't shoot and quickly wish you had.
Here we are, me, Trevor, and the boy. We're out. We're gonna set up a bale blind here. Hopefully it'll work. Field next to me here, they're just knocking that one down. And this one here has been baled and got bales sitting in it. So we've had a spot here. Last year was a new spot. We had a nice 5x5 showed up. This year he showed up, he's back. Thinking he's 5.5, 6. So we're gonna set something up, see if we can get a good look at him up close and make our decision then. There, we'll get our Big & J out. And hopefully we're good to go. We got another bag of mixed stuff with that deadly dust. I love that stuff. Mix it with the other feed. Seems to really bring them in. They really like it. So, all right, here we go. We'll check the camera, and then we'll get out of here.
And Ken was spot on. Soon after getting set up in his Big & J out, the 5x5 from the previous year was right there. Long beams, great tines, and good mass. It was definitely a deer that Ken wanted to take a closer look at.
This segment of Canadian Whitetail has been brought to you by Under Armour. Go where you don't belong. You're watching Dean Partridge's Canadian Whitetail, North America's premier wild whitetail show. This segment has been brought to you by Central Boiler Outdoor Wood Furnaces. A central boiler easily connects to your existing forced air, in-floor radiant, baseboard, or dual heat system to heat your entire home and domestic water. Central Boiler, performance and value by design.
With Ken set up ready, the buck on camera at the Big and J consistently, and the season now here, it was time for Ken to take the last few practice shots before heading out. Heading out on opening day is easily one of the most anticipated days of the year. A day filled with tension, but also relief that it's finally time. Time that you can begin to put your plan into action. A time to learn what changes may be needed to your plan, and a time to see the results of your preparation. In, settled, and ready, it was now time to wait. Opening day 2016, but Ken, well, he wasn't going to be waiting very long.
Welcome to this week's Canadian Whitetail Scouting segment. Locate, learn, set up, hunt. Brought to you by Big and J Long Range Attractants. The aroma is super strong. The range is super long.
How can you find more sheds in the spring? Well, there's a few basic steps to start with. First, find the food. That time of year that the deer shed, they're completely driven by food, and that's where they're going to spend a lot of time. Secondly, find their bedding area. During those winter months, those deer are going to be traveling almost exclusively from bedding to feeding and then back. And the third spot is in between, those trails leading from their bedding to their feeding areas. But be careful not to do harm to deer. Often underestimated is the added pressure that early shed hunting can put on those deer. And it's pressure at a time of the year when they are most vulnerable. Believe it or not, in harsh conditions when the deer are run down, jumping a deer on foot, or worse, a snowmobile or an ATV, and having him run maybe half a mile or more to another safe place can add enough stress, energy use, and concern for that deer to end up as a winner kill statistic. For that reason, in harsher conditions or early in the shed hunting season, we choose to focus our shed hunting efforts in those feeding areas, leaving the deer in their bedding areas untouched. Those sheds will still be there later in the spring when conditions are better and the deer are less stressed. So how does this all tie into scouting? Well, I think the biggest benefit is not the sheds at all, rather the time spent in the deer woods that you hunt, learning the trails, learning the property, better than you would in the fall while you're on stand.
This week's Canadian Whitetail Scouting segment has been brought to you by Big and J Long Range Attractants. This segment has been brought to you by Glendale 3D Targets. Glendale 3D Targets, the biggest and toughest 3D targets in the universe, and the only target with a replaceable four-sided core.
All right, here I am. I'm out September 7th, first sit of the year here. Got the new Elite looking to break her in. I got a nice 5x5 in here. This is a new spot last year, and he was in here last year. Really nice tines. Nice looking deer. I think he's probably at least a 5-year-old right now. So hoping to get a look at him.
Early in the evening, a young spiker appears, cautiously watching to his left. Ken looks over and sees why. Just into the evening, the big 5x5, now in hardhorn, has made an appearance. Caught a little off guard this early, Ken grabs his bow to get ready. Now's where the experience and not being worried this early in the year with a whole season ahead of him comes into play. And Ken sets his bow back down to take a closer look, second guessing if it's the deer that he wants to take. Only having a moment where the deer's broadside before walking off, Ken ends up not shooting, maybe having overthought the encounter.
I think I might have made a mistake. The 5x5 come in. My first time sitting. I've never had an opportunity to kill a deer this early in the season since 2012. And here he was. Spiker comes in. He's right behind him, real early. I was hesitant. I wanted to get a good look at him. His head was up. His head was down. I just couldn't make my mind up. Finally, he walked out. Now I'm instantly regretting my decision not taking this shot that I had.
Whitetail Insights, brought to you by the QDMA, the Quality Deer Management Association, ensuring the future of whitetail deer.
A really important QDM topic is fawn survival. So can you share with us a couple of the reasons that show why that fawn survival is so important?
It really is, and it's because that's the future of our deer herds. You know, whether we're most interested in just hunting deer for meat or bucks or whatever the case may be, the best way to make sure that we have a sustainable deer herd is to be moving as many fawns into that deer herd as we possibly can.
It's really the base of it, right?
Absolutely. It's the base that we have here today and what we're going to have in the future, and which is especially so important, you know, when we run into severe winters where we lose a bunch of deer. You know, the ability of our deer herds to bounce back after a bad winter or, you know, disease outbreak or something really rests in how many fawns can survive.
So with that being said, and I think it's more crucial now than ever to pay attention to fawn survival, what is the biggest threat to fawn survival that we're experiencing today in most areas in the deer woods?
It's a huge issue today, and the reason being, you know, we've had some terrible winters, so we lose some of those deer, but also we have growing predator populations, you know, all over. So if we have fewer deer and more predators, what you often end up with is, you know, losing a higher percentage of your fawns, which is not good. And we're also losing habitat like crazy, particularly in our real agricultural areas. As we lose hedgerows, you know, we farm all the way to the ditches. You know, in many cases, that was the best fawning habitat that we had. So as those deer don't have it, they can't bounce back nearly as quickly.
And it's not just from urban sprawl, it's actually the agricultural practices that have changed, that you can take a good piece of, you know, a good piece of deer property, and the change in the agricultural practices on that property are affecting the fawn survival.
Absolutely, because what you take a look at, where you have really good fawning cover, you know, it's thick cover where fawns can survive, but you can't just have it in one little piece. You know, and that's actually the only time of the year that deer are territorial. Does will be territorial over where those fawns are born. So you need to have good cover, and it needs to be spread out to allow the most fawns as possible to get the best start in life.
So if we know why it's important, what the threats are, what are some of the best ways that a deer hunter can help affect fawn survival in the area that he hunts?
Well, certainly a habitat is always a good thing. You know, whether they own the land or they have a friend that does or can do something, it's always good to enhance the habitat of the land so that we have better cover for deer and other wildlife. From another end, you know, we have talked in the past about predator control. If they have an opportunity to hunt or to trap some coyotes before fawns hit the ground in the spring, if coyotes are a problem in the area, hey, anything that can save a few fawns, you know, is helping. But habitat's often where you have to start, but there's also many other ways as well that we can contribute to get more fawns to survive.
This Whitetail Insight is brought to you by the Quality Deer Management Association. Become a member and ensure the future of whitetail deer. This segment has been brought to you by Heumann. Portable, gas-free, and effective. Clearing shooting lanes has never been easier than with the new 40-volt battery-powered lightweight saw. Heumann, create your window of opportunity.
Unsure and possibly even regretting his decision to pass on the first day, Ken heads back in the next day, hoping to have another look.
Here I am, second sit of the year. It's September 10th. I sat a couple days ago. Had the buck that I was wanted to come take a look at come in with a spiker. Early 6:30, all kinds of time, and he walked out. And as soon as he walked out, I figured I probably should have shot. But if he comes back in, I won't be making that mistake again. So hopefully he comes back in.
Early on day 2, Ken has deer moving, including a young buck that's often on the trail camera with the Big 5. The four corners followed closely by another young buck. And again, not long after, Ken notices movement to his right. The Big 5, for the second time, is back. This time there is no decision to be made. Ken knows he's going to shoot and gets ready.
He come in right here last camera light. I took a shot, I hit him. He only ran about 20 yards and basically stopped. I didn't watch him go anymore, so I'm gonna sit here for quite a while and we'll wait and see what happened.
Ken reviews the shot in the footage, confident he heads back with friend Trevor and the kids to pick up the trail.
I give him some time after the shot here. Trevor come, brought my kids. They want to get involved and be a part of the tracking. So alls I did just go up there and I seen a chunk of my arrow was sitting there that broke. So we're gonna go and see if we can find some blood from there. And I'm hoping he went down not too far. He ran about 20 yards. He stopped, and then it looked like he went down. And we'll go see if we can find something more, find some blood and maybe find the deer. That's what we like to see. There he is. There he is. He is done. Right on. There we go. We got him, we found him. So, right on. Well, let's go and get everybody else and we'll get them in here and do a little more videoing and then we can get them cleaned up and get them out of here. Well, we finally caught up to him. 5x5. He went a lot further than I thought he was gonna go. He took off. And he stopped right away, 20 yards, but when I tried to turn the camera to get a better look at him, he disappeared and I didn't know where he went. Nice deer, mature buck. It's got this nice summer coat, I love that stuff. Nice long tines on this side. I passed him up the other day. He was in for about 15 minutes. I sat there and watched him and hummed and hawed, and as soon as he walked out, I was regretting, and I knew as soon as I come back in again the next time, if he comes out, he was gonna get her. So, and lucky me, he come back. So, right on, eh? Another one for the wall? That's right.
You betcha.
All right, let's get him tagged up and get him out of here.
We often say when the one steps out, you'll know, and you'll know instantly. And that's mostly true. But then again, most of us don't have a trophy room full of 200-inch deer. There comes a time when your target deer in any given season isn't the biggest. With a trophy room like that, it just can't be. And in the end, Ken made a great decision on an absolutely fantastic buck. And congratulations, Ken. I can't wait to see what you're hunting next year. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Canadian Whitetail.
This segment of Canadian Whitetail is brought to you by Wild Edge and the ultimate climbing system, the Step Ladder. Safely design your climb in any tree anywhere with the most versatile, lightweight, and compact climbing system, the Step Ladder. Closed captioning for Canadian Whitetail is provided by huntsask.ca, your information source for Canada's best whitetail hunting. Hunt Saskatchewan, Canada. Canadian Whitetail has also been brought to you by the Heater Bodysuit, #1 in cold weather hunting gear, Black Eagle Arrows, superior carbon technology, Scott Archery, and CVE bow sights. Canadian Whitetail has also been brought to you by these fine sponsors. For exclusive content, follow Dean and the team on Facebook, as well as on Instagram and Twitter @WhitetailDean. To view all past and present episodes of Canadian Whitetail, as well as new original content, visit us on our YouTube and Carbon TV channels. For Canadian Whitetail gear and apparel, visit CanadianWhitetailTV.com.